My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. We have just made it to the outskirts of the green forest, and everyone, it just started raining. I need to get a tarp up as fast as possible. I don't know if this is a passing shower or something bigger. What I do know is that we need to get some protection ASAP. Here's a tip for you all. If you're ever out in a pine forest, a spruce forest, basically trees that have a lot of sap to them, anytime you get that sap on your hands, it is incredibly easy to deal with. But most people don't know how. If you have some hand sanitizer, you can use that. If you have an alcohol stove, you can use the alcohol. If you don't have either of those, use dirt. Take your hands, rub them in the dirt, and then rub your hands together. You will force that dirt into the sap, then you can rinse your hands, and you're good to go. Everyone, we did it. We were able to set up the tarp in the rain, and now we are set. It doesn't matter what is coming our way, we are in good shape. Concerning the weather, there is a thunderstorm out there. It's 2 hours east going away from us. But there are storms out there. And it sounds like, based upon the forecast, this could be a stormy adventure. Currently, everyone, it is raining. It is very light. I would say more of like a mist or a very light rain, but either way, it is coming down. I have not had a moment to look at the radar. In fact, I'm not even sure if I have service. So I have no idea as it stands of what is coming our way, if anything. What I do know is that it's raining lightly right now. It is foggy, and everyone, it is cool. The current temperature is 64 degrees. And folks, it feels amazing. This, everyone, is going to be a good trip. It is now raining rather good. Feels good to be out in it too. You may be wondering, everyone, why I've been using these really large isobutane canisters lately. And basically, it boils down to availability. This is what has been available in my area, so that's what I'm using. Oftentimes, when it comes to isobutane, it could be kind of hard to find, especially in small areas like where I live. So anytime that I come across isobutane, I buy a bunch of it and I stock up. These are the 15.8 ounce canisters. They're huge. Now, of course, I could get an adapter and transfer some of this fuel to a smaller canister. That's always an option. If I'm hiking a ton of miles, I care. If I'm doing less than 8, then it doesn't matter to me. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. That is a good cup of coffee. When it comes to the selection that I make for each one of my trips, carefully selected blends. You know what I'm saying? Not really. I have this gigantic bag of coffee at the house. And every time I'm packing up for a trip, I just shove my hand in and I grab coffee, throw it in my food bag, and we end up with what we end up with. So, as it stands right now, it's still raining. It's rather light. But I can tell you all that the rain that we got was a soaking rain. Everything in the forest is sopping wet. We're not having a campfire tonight. That is out of the question. This stove, folks, this one's from Fire Maple. It is a rocket. It might just well be the fastest stove I've ever tested out. It has a rather funky design, but it works. It's fast. If speed is important for you, this is a stove that should be considered. It's very much like a jet boil, but with a more modern design. And it's a whole lot faster. I mean, 10 times faster than a jet boil. I'm starting to get the feeling that this is one of the adventures where we will be stuck underneath the tarp. It's looking like it's going to be wet the entire time. That's okay. We have a good tarp set up. Excellent airflow. Later on tonight, I'll set up my tent underneath this, and that'll be nice. Keep it nice and dry. Enjoy some good airflow because I don't have to have it sealed up. Sounds good. I'll tell you, everybody, it is nice to be out in the forest. And it's nice that we were able to set this tarp up without getting soaking wet. I've mentioned this before, and I'll just say it one more time, but for myself, living in a rainforest, anytime that I go out for a backpacking trip, anytime that I can make it to a campsite and set up my protection without getting soaking wet, it's a good day. Not everybody has to deal with problems like that or issues like that. Every campout, every location has its own unique characteristics, just like camping in a rainforest. Since we're talking about stoves, here's something kind of interesting. I'm not sure if it's really funny, but it's interesting. So the other day, I was working with a stove in my gear room, and it's a Chinese stove, highly unique. It is referred to as a cassette stove. It is the only stove in the world that I know of that has that sort of design. It's very, very unique. There are some copycats, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about comparable products, slightly different from other companies. There's nothing out there. Since we have AI on our devices, our phones, I grabbed my phone, I opened up Perplexity, and I asked it, what other cassette stoves like this Soto are there out on the market? And it starts listing off option, 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 option. I looked them up, and they're nothing like that Soto stove. What I find interesting about all of this, these AI systems, when it comes to like outdoor gear at least, it has no clue what it's talking about at all. When it comes to outdoor gear, it's not that complicated, but every component comes with a lot of nuances, right? Things work well in certain situations, and AI cannot understand this, or at least not yet. So if you go to ask AI about a piece of gear, or to make like a comparison between different pieces of gear, oftentimes, if not all the time, it will give you an incorrect answer. I have a supporter on Patreon, a really good guy, and I really appreciate his support. But he uses AI all the time, and he likes to send me the results for his searches and queries. Anyways, I've noticed, since he started doing this, he will be comparing multiple pieces of equipment, and the answers that he's given are incorrect. I'm not sure if he's picked up on it or not, but I certainly have, because I know the differences between materials. I know about different fuel types. Again, I'm talking about the nuances, right? And again, AI just cannot do it. I told that supporter, I was like, this is interesting, but don't believe any of this. And certainly do not base your purchasing power off of these results, because like half of this stuff, if not all of it, is wrong. I mean, it's just wrong. Some weeks back, I was messing with Perplexity, and I asked it about a new MSR tent and what it thought the pros and cons were. One thing that caught my attention was that it said that it was really bad in the summertime because it had no floor in it. But that's not true. It does have a floor in it, so AI. I hope it gets a lot better before we put that thing in charge of our nuclear weapons and stuff. You know what I mean? I'm sure it will, but as it stands right now, it's more gimmick than anything else. Do you all use it in your daily lives? Do you ask it questions and stuff like that? If so, comment down below and tell me how you use it. Tell me how it benefits you. Anyways, everyone, that storm that's to our east has been moving towards the north, getting further and further away from us. Someone is getting hit pretty good. That's an active storm there. Lots of thunder and lightning. This is interesting, folks. So the National Weather Service has just issued an alert for this area. Localized flash flooding is possible through Wednesday. A stream of tropical moisture will move north from the Gulf into the Appalachians through Wednesday. Periods of showers and embedded thunderstorms can be expected. Due to abundant moisture, these storms will be capable of producing excessive rainfall rates. If the storms move across the same locations, localized flash flooding is possible. Persons living near streams need to stay alert for potential rapid water rise and flash flooding. Localized flooding of low-lying areas and roadway floodings are possible. As it stands right now, there's not much on the radar that poses us any threats. But it sounds like anything is possible. Let me show you all something with this tent pole. So with this pole here, it's not that long, but let's say that you have a tent that has a really long tent pole or long tent poles. This is the easy way to put them together. Don't set them up while pushing them out horizontally. Set them up vertically. It is so much easier. So you drop it and go up like this. That is so much easier than putting it together and sliding the pole out to the side. Tonight, I am using a bivvie tent. This is from a company known as MC2 Mount. A few weeks back, I used one of their one-person backpacking tents on a trip. And since I did that, I've received numerous emails and messages to check out their bivvie, which I didn't even know existed. In the pictures, I have to say I was curious. As I was setting it up, I was really hopeful. Now that it's set up, what I love is the fact that it features a fly first pitch, meaning you can set this up in the rain and the inner will stay dry. That is sweet. The second thing that I like about this tent is that it's low weight. Also, the stored form factor is relatively small. What I dislike about this tent is that it features one big pole. This tent really does need a second pole down at the foot box, basically to open this tent up so you can have maximum space. Additionally, so you can have maximum airflow. As it stands right now, the fly is pretty much laying on the inner, and that's not good. When a tent fly comes into contact with the tent inner, when you have condensation, it's a nightmare. The entire tent will be wet on the inside. Unfortunately, there's no real way to pull the fly away from the inner. What I could do is get a stick and prop up one side. That will help, but it will not solve the problem. All that we can do, everyone, is camp out in this tent and we'll see how well it performs. If it performs well enough, I'll move on to the next stage of testing. If not, we might just call it done here. Something else I don't like about this tent is that it doesn't pitch very good. I have everything staked out as taut as possible and it's still not that taut. You can see here at the front of the tent, it looks a little bit loose. I cannot get that any tighter than it is right now. The same applies for the back side of this tent. By the way, everyone, at dinner time, I will tell you all a story, a behind the scenes story involving the MC2 Mount one-person backpacking tent that I was using in a few episodes ago. It's an interesting story for sure. We have thunder, folks. Let's check the radar real quick and let's see what's coming our way. Come on, baby. Where's my lucky rabbit's foot? Okay. We do have rain towards our south. It's coming this direction. It's a super small thunder cell. I don't think it's going to hit us, but it will be very close. With that being said, though, we're going on to late afternoon. We have a few more hours of light left, but it'll be dark before we know it. Wow, that stove is fast. Tonight for dinner, everyone, we are having a real Termat meal, kebab stew. I love this meal. For some reason, at least to me, It tastes like pizza, and I like pizza, so it's a win. It does not look like pizza though, that's for sure. As far as the weather goes, it has been a quiet afternoon. There was that thunderstorm to our south. It fizzled out. It did get really dark for a minute, but then that was it. Since that point in time, it's just been cloudy, dark, dreary, but luckily cool. We're still in the lower 60s, if not the upper 50s right now. I do have a thermometer with me, but I'm not going to worry about checking it. Right now, my focus is on dinner. I can't wait. I will say though, the Futurecast weather from the Weather Channel, or weather.com, shows really powerful storms coming in later on tonight. But the question is, how accurate is this? From my experiences, just so-so, but this shows a lot of storms in this area around midnight, so we'll keep track of it. We'll see what happens. I would not bet any money on storms being around at midnight. This thing is definitely oftentimes wrong. This meal here, folks, is delicious. If you're in the US, it is really hard to get your hands on, unfortunately, but it is awesome. What is also awesome are the weather conditions today. Cool. Even though it's humid, it's still cool. I feel incredibly fortunate to be up here. Something I noticed a little while ago, already the ferns are beginning to die. It is that time of year already. The leaves are changing colors in the forest, but here in this one little area, already the ferns, they're changing colors, they're dying for the season. Fall, my friends, is right around the corner, and I cannot wait. Hopefully, it'll be a very snowy winter, a cold winter. Who knows if it will be. The Farmer's Almanac says it's going to be colder than average, more snow. The current forecast from the National Weather Service says they believe it's going to be warmer and less snow. So, who do you believe? I have no idea. I believe you. What's your prediction? Comment down below. Your guess is just as good as theirs. This, everyone, is amazing. It tastes like a Mexican pizza with like rice on it. I know that sounds weird, but to me that's what it's always tasted like. And I like Mexican pizza, so. I'll tell you what, everyone. Let's talk about MC2 Mount, the company that made this tent. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, I was out on a backpacking trip and I was using an MC2 Mount tent. It was a one-person tent that they call the backpacking tent. There's also a two-person version of that shelter. I mentioned in that episode, that adventure, that the tent had been sold out for a long time. I had no idea if it was ever going to go back into stock. I mentioned that because this company is a little bit weird. For whatever reason, as soon as they sell out of a product here in the United States, oftentimes you'll never see those products ever again. Shortly after putting up that adventure, I heard from MC2 Mount, and they told me that the one-person tent and the two-person version were on Amazon. I was like, wow, really? I mean, I had just looked. It wasn't there. That's why I said what I said in the video. I go to Amazon, I look. I write the company back and I say, I looked at Amazon, I do not see the tent. Send me a link, please. A few days go by, I receive a reply, and they have sent me a link to Amazon. I open it up and it's a different tent that they are also calling the backpacking tent. I write them back and I let them know that no, that is not the same tent. It's similar, but it is indeed different. It's a different color. The design is different. Plain and simple, it's not the same tent. They write back and they tell me that that is indeed the same tent and that I should let you all know that it's in stock. Well, I told them again, this is not the same tent. It's not the same color. The pole design is different. The inner is different. It's not the same tent. And I'm not going to tell you all that it's in stock. That is not the same product that I was talking about. I asked them, when is this tent that I used going to go back in stock? That's when they wrote back after a few days and said, oh yes, that's not the same tent, and it will be in stock shortly. I'm not really sure what the company was trying to pull. I don't feel like they were trying to be dishonest. I don't know. I just don't know. Maybe they were trying to capitalize off of my video, which of course I'm not going to let them do. This channel is agenda free. I'm not here to sell you products. I just test out gear and I share my thoughts, and that's it. But I'm not going to say the tent I was using was this tent here when it's completely different. Similar, but different. I've used this one. I have not used this one, so it was a very strange interaction, folks. And of course, there is a language barrier there, so maybe some things are not coming across, not translating properly. I'm not sure. Strange, nonetheless. I've been camping long before I was 10 years old, and now I'm in my mid-40s. That's crazy, everyone. I tell you what, though, outdoor gear has come a long way. It used to be so heavy, so bulky. You would have to wear external frame packs just to carry that stuff. Thank goodness we have modern materials. The weight has come down. The size of everything has come down. I will say, though, the outdoor industry has hit a plateau. There's not a whole lot that's new and different, and it's been that way for about 10 years. And it's because of that, the outdoor industry as a whole isn't doing that well. I think we're going to continue seeing a lot of companies close. REI, for an example, just had another disastrous quarter. They just posted their numbers. I want to say it was like $100 and something million loss. On top of all of the consecutive years of losses. Almost $1 billion. And for an outdoor company, that's a lot of money. REI is definitely not looking good right now. Look at it. Now respect it. The fog came on very quickly, everyone. 1 second it was clear, and the next it was like this. Right now on the radar, it does show some storms coming this way, but the brunt of it is so far south. I did consider leaving because of the forecast, but I think everything will be okay. I've definitely been up here in some knockdown thunderstorms where the rain was like so heavy, the water would be sheeting off of the soil. I've also been up here during tornado warnings, with tornadoes on the ground less than 1 mile away. Pretty intense. Anyways, my plan is to pack up, get ready for bed. I shouldn't say pack up. I'm gonna put up all my garbage and all that stuff. Basically get everything ready for tonight, turn in, and watch a movie. Since it's so early into the evening, my plan is to watch a movie. Folks, this is the most ridiculous bivvy tent I've ever been in. So I'm not a super tall guy, right? But this is too small for me. My head is wedged up in the corner and my feet are wedged in the bottom. This is so small, it's uncomfortable. I didn't expect this to be a large tent, but I did not expect to be wedged inside of this. This is crazy, everyone. Huh. I'm going to do my best to get comfortable inside of this. I'll bring you all back in just a bit. I don't know if you all could see this, but when I'm laying down, my head is touching the wall here, and my feet, I mean, they're being compressed by the bottom material. Wow. That's all I have to say. And everyone, that's why I test out this gear. I purchased this so you don't have to. Do not purchase this. It's not a good idea. Not unless you're like, I don't know, under 5 foot tall. Then you might be able to get it to work. But anything over that, you'll regret it. I'm not sure how well this is coming through, but my head is pressed up against this mesh. This is incredibly uncomfortable, everyone. So uncomfortable, I'm not sure if I could sleep inside of this. I need to think about this for a minute. What the f-
An early baker is a money maker. Get here on time.
I'm going to pull up the Amazon listing for this product to see if any of the reviews talk about this being super small. Hopefully my phone will work. Well, right now it's not really doing it. Plus, I want to see the listing for this tent. Does it say it's good for individuals under 5 foot tall? I gotta know. I can't help but be somewhat amused by this entire situation. This really does go to show, and this is something I've said many times on the channel. Test out your gear before you go into the backcountry. I do things differently because oftentimes I test out gear on these trips, but that's not what I recommend that you do. So I'm in this situation now. I have this tent. It's too small. I can't fit in it. I can't sleep in it. It's too small for that. So now I have to make a decision. What do I do? The listing says this tent is 8.2 feet long, and that is simply not true. It may be from point to point, but that's not usable space. Seriously, folks, do not buy this tent. You will be sorry. Even if you're looking for like a bivvie style tent, there's much better products out on the market than this. This is the smallest, most uncomfortable tent I've ever been in. Ever. And I've tested out a ton of bivvie tents. Most of the reviews are really good for this tent. That doesn't shock me because Amazon reviews are complete garbage. Never trust an Amazon review for anything. Virtually all of these reviews are glowing, but most of them will tell you that they've never even been inside of it. Yeah, I don't know. I need to think about this, everyone, and decide what I'm going to do. This is an interesting situation, everyone. It's interesting mainly because of the conditions right now. So as it stands, the entire area is engulfed in a heavy, thick, wet fog. Everything is becoming soaked. I could break down the tent, set up my pad and my sleeping bag on top of the ground sheet, but unfortunately, because there's so much moisture in the air, there's no way to protect my sleeping bag. So what I mean by that is this. Over the course of just hours, the sleeping bag will soak with moisture. Even with a tarp this big, you'll never be able to keep all of the moisture out and be able to sleep on the ground like this. Because of that, I see two real options here. I can put my rain gear on and I can sit in the chair all night long, try to get some sleep. Or I can break all of this down, pack it all up, and I can hike out of here. It would be slow going, but it's possible. You have to admit, this is kind of funny. Or at least, I think it's funny. I don't know. It's always an adventure. I'll tell you what. Since I have service, I went ahead and I asked my Patreon supporters and my YouTube supporters what would they do in a situation like this. I was curious to find out what they would do. Would they sit in a chair all night long, or would they pack up and head off? Interestingly enough, it's about split. It's just about 50-50. Some people say they would head off. Some people say they would sit in the chair. I'm sure you're wondering, what would I do and what am I going to do? I am going to sit in the chair all night long, and this is why. Naturally, I respect your decision, whatever it is that you would do, but this is my thinking. Based upon my experience, even if I know the area extremely well, when it's super foggy like this, when it's dark like this, you can only be so careful, right? I could do my best. I could try to move carefully, but the odds are, or at least there is a heightened risk of getting hurt, of a mechanical injury. Because of that, I'd rather sit in the chair, be uncomfortable, try to get some sleep that way, than head out in the middle of the night. Even with me knowing this area like the back of my hand, it would not be easy getting out of here. And because of that, I'm staying in the chair. That's the plan. I will go ahead and break down this tent, get it out of the way, then get myself set up right in the middle. I could lower this tarp down a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. Luckily, it's not that cold tonight. It actually feels really good. But when there's moisture like this, you can never seal yourself up enough to stay dry, completely dry. Luckily, that's where the rain gear comes into play. Because of that, I will stay dry, even if there is blowing moisture. So, that is the plan, everyone. It's been a long time since I had to sleep in a chair while out on a trip. A really long time. When was the last time that I had to sleep in a chair? It was either 2 or 3 years ago. I was out for a trip, and let's see, I want to say I set the tent up, then it rained and filled full of water. It's been a while. I don't quite remember all of the details, but I'm pretty sure that's it. It was cold too. Quite chilly, so I just had to sit in a chair all night long. I mean, it was just raining, the tent was just filling full of water. I never once thought that I would have a tent that'd be too small to sleep in. That's a first. It's almost unbelievable. I don't get it. It really does go to show like how full of crap those Amazon reviews are. Most of the reviews were really good. Some were a little bit honest and at least said they never stayed in it. But there was a handful there where people said like, oh, it's the best thing ever, greatest design ever, slept great in it, completely waterproof. How did they fit in it, right? I mean, were they comfortable with their feet being smashed? Like, I couldn't even have my feet out. I had to like curl my toes just to fit in there. I don't know. And then of course like my head was like smashed in the top of it. I just can't imagine that anybody slept like that. A traditional bivvy would be way more comfortable than that. Unfortunately, because that tent pitches in such a funky way, there was no way that I could expand it to make it any more comfortable or larger. The pitch on that tent was just terrible. Very, very strange. Well, it's gonna be a long night. But the truth is, sleeping in a chair like this is not as bad as you think. You don't really want to do it, but in a pinch, it's not that bad. The nice thing is that I'm underneath this tarp. I'm gonna stay dry tonight, and it does look like rain is on the way. I have a nice breeze coming through. It actually feels really, really good. The blessing is that it's not that cold tonight. We're in the lower 60s, upper 50s, something like that. It's not bad. Plus, sleeping in a chair will make you appreciate a nice, comfortable tent. A tent that's large enough for you to sleep in, you know? Now, of course, if you're someone who gets afraid of the dark rather easily, you're not going to like this one bit. When you're inside of a tent, the walls, the door, everything being sealed up makes you feel safe. If you're not comfortable in the night, something like this really could bother you. So hopefully you'll never be in this situation. I'm in this situation because I test out gear. That's what I do. There's no reason why you should ever have to be in a situation like this. Test out your gear before you go out on a trip. It's my best advice. With that being said, I will have to turn these lights off here in just a little bit. I do not have unlimited juice, so I'm going to leave a little bit of this power bank here so I can charge my phone. I can even charge my phone from this here. This is really power efficient. Yeah, folks, it's going to be a long night. And we might as well get to it. It is time for an update. It is about 10:30 and it's beginning to rain. At the moment, it is very, very light, but it's raining. At the same time, I'm hearing something far off in the forest and I'm not sure what it is. I mean, it almost sounds like maybe gunshots or someone banging on something. I'm not sure. Yeah, did you hear that? I don't know if the mic can separate the wind noise from whatever that was. I don't know. Who knows? Everybody, who knows? But I've been in the chair for a little while. So far, so good. I'm getting comfortable. I'm gonna try to get some shut-eye. Wish me luck, everyone. Wish me luck. I will bring you all back in just a bit with another update. By the way, everyone, from here forward, for the most part, I will be running a red light. And that's because this red light is incredibly energy efficient. This headlamp on this red mode can run for like 27 hours, which is very, very impressive. So I will run that as much as I have to, as much as I need to, and I'll save battery life. Anyways, folks, I'll see you in a bit. Wish me luck. Good night for now. My friends, it is update time. Jesus, that's bright. My friends, it is time for an update. It's a little bit after midnight. It's raining out. It's really, really light, but it's raining. More importantly, it is windy. Like all of a sudden, the winds are picking up. They're quite gusty. Because it's gotten so windy, I went ahead and I lowered down this tarp to block some of that wind. So far, it's doing a good job, but I have to say, I'm a little bit chilly sitting in this chair. Because of that, I have thought about doing some push-ups, some squats to kind of warm up, and I may have to do that on and off throughout the night. I looked at the radar just a minute ago. We have light rain all around us. That looks like it's going to last all night long. There is a wave of thunderstorms heading this way that should be here by, I don't know, early morning. I want to say maybe 5 or 6, something like that. It's definitely on the way though. The plan is simple. I'm just gonna kick back, try to get as much sleep as possible. I don't know if that's possible. With my past experiences, I've been able to sleep at least some in a chair, which is ridiculous to say, but true. So hopefully I'll be able to get just a little bit of sleep, but the odds are it won't be much. So that's the update for now. I'll continue to sit here. There's nothing else to do. Doing push-ups and then trying to go to sleep is not easy. But you have to do what you have to do to stay warm. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Current time is a little bit after 5 a.m. I have survived the night, sleeping and sitting in that chair, or sitting whatever. Anyways, I was able to do it rather comfortably. Again, sleeping in a chair isn't as bad as you think it is, or it would be, but it's definitely not something that you want to do. As it stands right now, it is incredibly foggy in this forest. You could tell that a storm is coming or something. A change is taking place. It's been foggy all night long, but it's really, really foggy right now. Like, it's incredibly dense. Before I went to bed last night, I told you all that I was hearing something. I discovered what that was. It was thunder. There was a thunderstorm really, really far off, and it was making the weirdest sounding thunder. I noticed that once I turned the lights out, I could see just like the vaguest of flashing in the sky, followed by that strange thunder. I guess it was due to the cloud cover and whatever conditions, but very strange for sure. Anyways, last night it was really quiet. Nothing happened, didn't hear anything. I just sat in that chair. Every time I got cold, I would get up, do push-ups, I would do some squats. And folks, that was my night. What I need is some coffee. Dirt. Oh yeah. Whew. This is some strong coffee, folks. And that's exactly the way I like it. It's what I need. Especially when you consider that here in a little bit, I'll be hiking off of this mountain in the pouring rain. Heavy rain is coming in now, and even heavier rain is to follow. So the forecast, as far as the National Weather Service goes and the Weather Channel, both were wrong last night. My forecast about heavy rain this morning, it was correct. It is pouring, folks. Very, very, very heavy rain at the moment. Luckily, we have this large tarp to protect us. When it comes to tarps, I like a large tarp. 13 foot by 10 foot. A tarp of that size will give you enough protection for yourself, for your tent, and so on. It's the perfect size for a storm. Anything smaller than that, you'll oftentimes have blowback or blow-by. Basically, the water drops, they're falling from the trees, they're hitting things, they're popping. All of that moisture can make its way underneath the tent because it's so fine. And it can soak you. But with a tarp like this, it's so big that if you're in the middle, you can usually stay dry. This should be ending here in a little bit. Then we'll have the second wave coming in shortly afterwards. It was a long night. A long night in a chair. I love it. I really do. I love testing out gear. I love sharing adventures with you all. It's so much fun. It really is. Even sitting in a chair all night long, it's kind of fun. And now I have one weird camping story. My tent was so small that I couldn't sleep in it. I had to sleep in a chair. How many people have said that before? Hopefully not many. That's so funny, folks. You can't make this stuff up. How bizarre. That first wave is almost done now. And behind it, we have a ton of smaller showers, followed by like a monster system that's coming through. That will be here in maybe an hour and a half, something like that. That is going to be some really, really heavy rainfall. As it stands right now, it is basically 6 o'clock. It's still too dark to hike out. What I want to do is pack everything up right now and hike out. But that's not going to happen. It's too dark, too foggy. Now everything's soaking wet, very slick. I'm just gonna have to wait. A flood watch was just issued. Excessive runoff may result in flooding of creeks, streams, rivers, low-lying areas, flood-prone locations. I think I have a plan, folks. As soon as this rain slacks off, I'm going to begin breaking everything down. I'm going to put up the camera. Sunrise is in about 30 minutes. At that point, I'll begin hiking out of here. It's one of those things where it'll be easier to break all of this down, have my rain gear on, and head out and face the rain. It'll be easier to do that than to try to break this down while it's pouring the rain super, super heavy. I'm not going to have enough time to hike out of the forest completely before the next big wave hits, but it'll be easier that way. Thank goodness for good rain gear. It's so important. When it comes to outdoor gear, some things are really worth investing in, such as your rain gear or your sleeping pad. If there's one piece of gear outside of your rain gear, whatnot, that I would tell people to invest in, it would be their sleeping pads. Getting a good night's rest is more important than anything. And the simple truth is, when it comes to inexpensive sleeping pads, there's not many out there. It really does depend on what you can put up with. If you're younger, you could put up with a lot. As you get older, what you can put up with gets smaller and smaller. Does that make sense? A lack of sleep has made me stupid. I'm trying to make a point. I don't know if it's coming through very well. Anyway. But seriously though, invest in a good sleeping pad and you'll be thankful. Well, my friends, the adventure ends here. Unfortunately, I'm not able to take you all with me as I hike out of the forest. There's just no way to protect this camera, especially with the rain that's coming in. I hate to end a video like this, but I have to do what I have to do. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. You will find a brand new adventure being uploaded every single Monday on that channel. Thank you so much for checking it out. What a wild adventure this has been. Everyone, take care, be well, be safe, strength and honor.